Well. It's been a long time since I reviewed the One Piece manga chapter. Now, again, like I said, I don't do One Piece manga chapters every damn week or every new chapter comes out. I only cover the manga when I feel like this is a very important chapter or something groundbreaking in the One Piece story that I just gotta talk about. Now, obviously, I've yet to review the One Piece anime episode. I've yet to have watched it at this point in time of this recording, which is this Sunday evening. At some point, maybe before I go to bed, I'll watch it, and then as I'm like, probably have seen my clothes washed and make sure they get all dry and everything, I'll probably watch it. I'll probably have to stay up late to do a review of that, and then most of those videos will go out throughout the week or whatever as fast as I can get them, because I'm gonna make sure they're like pre-recorded, they're pre-rendered, they're pre-done, they're ready to go on YouTube. They'll probably have their set little schedule where I'm gonna do it, but whatever. You're gonna get, again, I'll continue on with the anime for the post-Wano content. Manga-wise, I had to talk about this shit. Again, like I said, I don't do weekly manga chapter reviews for One Piece. Obviously, my anime reviews, helps me cover the content that I don't talk about in the manga and help the anime fans kind of understand some things. But this manga chapter, my goodness, chapter 1095 of One Piece, absolutely crazy. Now, obviously, I've missed a lot in terms of what the hell is going on in the story. I've been, obviously, this egghead thing with the Marines surrounding the Straw Hats, Luffy versus Kizaru has been crazy, and then obviously Saint Saturn, his form reveal. Now, before I get into the chapter, if you want to get my thoughts on this, I don't know if this is some sort of weird devil fruit thing, or if this is some weird, what people have been saying in the community, like some sort of demon power, like the antithesis to Luffy's, Gumu Guma no Mi, or his Hana Hana no Mi. And people have been saying, like, okay, is this a devil form? And it's weird because it's like he's like a half like spider type of thing, which is, they also, people bring on the mention, he looks like he's taking the form of a yokai. Basically, it's like a demon in Japan lore and everything. The dude just looks freaky as hell, and he looks gigantic, and the form is crazy. And again, if he looks like this, man, and again, another reason why people bring up the demon type of theory, like, he's got the horns too. But again, it's crazy to see that this is one of the 5 Gorosei, like, forms that was revealed to Sabo, and that means we only have 4 more left to see what they look like too. But this guy, he looks freaking wicked. Saturn is just a monster, and I'm not looking forward to seeing what what the other Gorosei members are. And we see how strong Saturn is in this transformed state of his, which only makes me feel like, okay, that means the other Gorosei, they ain't probably nothing to sneeze at either. But anyways, let's get into this chapter, because a lot happens in this chapter, especially pertaining to Kuma's backstory and relation to, surprisingly, God Valley, which I was absolutely shocked. Now, this chapter is chapter 100 or 1095, titled "Better Off Dead in This World." So yes. Yes. Now, obviously, now what's going on is the fact that after Saturn basically showed up, the Marines were told, hey, you can't look at his ass, otherwise you're gonna die. And we literally see in like the last chapter, somebody's head gets blown the hell off after this. And I was like, oh, this is not the One Piece I know. We're already murdering people. Oh, shit. What's going on here? Anyways, we start the chapter off with basically like an alert saying Saint Saturn has disembarked. All units but Vice and Rear Admirals maintain distance from the island's center. Avert your eyes from his holy form. Now, which is actually pretty interesting. They call it his holy form. So, yeah, that's kind of the thing. Now, these other Marines were able to see him. They're like, I've only seen them in portraits. What are those flashes of lightning? The admirals themselves will act for a single celestial dragon, and these are the pinnacle of these gods. And basically, they're just shocked that we actually have a Gorosei member, a 5 Elder member, actually coming from Marijua to handle business, basically. Now, Also, too, in the last chapter, we had it at the end. Bonnie ends up stabbing Saturn, basically in like his bearded area and everything. Now, we cut back to that where we pick up right where we left off in that situation, and Vegapunk is like, Bonnie, what the hell have you done and everything? And basically the other Marines are like, she stabbed one of the Gorosei! She stabbed Saint Saturn and everything. You know? And basically, the thing is, Saturn just like, his eyes end up lighting up and everything. And basically, Saturn's like, you freaking foolish pebbles, basically. You think I was afraid of that? You think I'm worried about this? If I was so worried about this, then I would have dodged in the first place. So basically, he said Bonnie's attack, whatever she would have done, never worried him one bit. So this goes to show you this guy's a lot stronger than he looks, obviously, clearly. But it also goes to show you that this guy was never afraid of Bonnie right then and there. He basically forces Bonnie back. He grabs a hold of Bonnie. And remember, this guy in his transformed state, remember, this guy in his regular base human state, he was like, I wouldn't say a small man, but he was like a good-sized man. He transformed into this state. The dude looked like a damn near giant, for crying out loud. You know, I'm just like, what the hell? Now, he grabs Bonnie. Sanji's like, Bonnie. He goes in to try to save her, but, you know, Saturn knocks Sanji back. Now, we knew from the last chapter, we saw a random Marine just get his head blown off. Now, if you're wondering, how the hell is the same thing not happening to Sanji? Well, remember, he's got the Germa genes already activated, so you saw in the fight, especially with the anime that recently ended with the Wano arc, basically with the fact that his Germa 66 genes got activated, he can probably take this attack easily. He still is bleeding from this attack, but, you know, he can actually manage to come back and stay alive from this attack. On top of the fact that he probably could hockey himself up so he can give himself an extra layer of protection as well, to help him out in the situation. But he basically is like down for the count, and he's basically bleeding from that point on, right then and there. Also, too, the stab wound that Saturn got basically vanished because Frankie makes mentions like, hey, the blood from that dude's gone now. So basically, it seems like this dude can also just re-heal himself, which goes to show you, like, okay, we're dealing with another animal. These guys ain't nobody to mess with, and everything. So yes. Now, the other Marines are like, listen, we gotta seize Vegapunk. He's right then and there. Now, Saturn ends up going saying, wait, you fools. Don't be so hasty. They cannot escape. Just ready your weapons. This is rather sluggish work by your standards, Kizaru. Now, Kizaru, he's kind of on the ground. And he's like, oh, Dad. He's like, give me a second. Give me a second. I need to gather myself. I took a very bad shot from Monkey D. Luffy. Just give me a second. Now, if you remember from last chapter, Luffy basically hit him dead on. I forgot what the gum move he did was, but it was the same movie where he hit Kaido in the face, where he basically hit Kaido and Kaido's face, you know, head all stretched all the way back and everything. That's basically the attack he did with Kizaru. And Kizaru, shockingly, I guess is down for the count for now, but he still got consciousness, which it goes to show you, like, oh, Luffy didn't really take down an Emperor in Gear 5, but he essentially incapacitated him for at least what would seem like maybe a few minutes or so. So it definitely shows you that, okay, Gear 5, even though it's on another level, the Admirals, they can still struggle against it, and there's a part where the Admirals can actually be, okay, knocked down for a bit. Albeit they still have their consciousness. So I don't know in terms of power scaling, if you want to look into that, like, okay, does that mean Gear 5 Luffy is clearly not up to the task to beat an Admiral yet? I guess he can hang on the level of an Admiral now, but only time will tell till he officially defeats one. So yes. Now, Saint Saturn basically goes on to say, you know, I think I can understand why basically he gave Kizaru trouble and everything. Now, he goes in to actually attack Luffy and try to impale him right then and there. Now, Luffy's in his, like, old disheveled form after going Gear 5. Now, Frankie comes in, punches Luffy out of the way with a strong right to save Luffy's life. And basically, he grabs Luffy and obviously Frankie's like, well, Luffy. So these guys who rule the world basically want our captain's head, huh? Now, Saturn's like, Straw Hat Luffy, Drury Bonnie. We failed to anticipate your presence here. But if your fate is strong enough to escape this desperate situation, I would very much like to see it. He goes on to mention about Vegapunk saying, your betrayal is most disappointing, but your great service to our military is appreciated. Basically saying like, yeah, thank you for freaking helping us out and making sure we're all good military-wise. You're gonna die now, so it's alright. Thank you for coming. We'll see you in hell at some point. So that's basically what he says. Now he wonders which of you should be able to go first. Now tell me from least to most painful. I want you to die with nothing but regret for your rebellion against the world government. And he goes on to say, why is it that human beings feel the need to do what they are explicitly forbidden from doing? And at this point, he starts squeezing. Now that comment, that's what got people in the community thinking like, okay, he referenced Bonnie and other people as human beings, as if he was a completely different race, as if he was not from this world, is what people were saying. You know, and again, I'll talk about the flashback about the way the Goras say, look, mind you, which was a very long time with where we're at from the current storyline. So people are wondering, okay, are these people like a different race or something like that? Or they're like from like some sort of different universe or something where like they're clearly something that they're not, like aka demons, because it would make sense why demons would call human beings and identify them as humans. So that's kind of the thing. Now Sanji tries to get back up to help Bonnie, but Sanji makes this interesting comment saying, can anyone else move? And basically Frankie's like, no, I can't. It's like I'm being held down. If it's not, and then Vegapunk goes on to make the mention, if this is not science, then it must be devil fruit powers. And basically, so, all right. So this man has gravity powers where he can basically hold these people down now? Some people down? Yeah, I don't know what these abilities are that the Gorosei have when they transform, but it seems devastating. Now Bonnie ends up freaking telling Saturn, you killed my father, basically. And basically, what is it? Saturn's like, Kuma, you mean he was born into a slave castle or caste? The descendant of a clan that once committed a grave crime against the world. The last survivor of the extinct Buccaneer people. Now, this has started having Bonnie have flashbacks. Now, now Bonnie's remembering a flashback where Kuma is talking to Bonnie and he says, Bonnie, ever since I was a boy, I wanted to be a hero who could save the imprisoned and suffering. Just like Nika, the warrior of liberation. Nika, that's right, he's my idol. He appears from the blue with laughter and rhythm. And basically, at this point, Saturn's holding Bonnie up, and he's like, he's telling the other Marines, hey, shoot her. And right now, everybody's like stuck to the ground and they can't do nothing about it. And basically, Vegapunk's like, please stop, she's just a child now, and everything. So, yeah, and that's basically where the current storyline ends from that point in. So, that's when we get the interesting stuff in this chapter that is big revelations. And that is, we get the backstory to Bartholomew Kuma. Now, 47 years ago, in the Sorbet Kingdom, we have it to where Kuma's parents see Kuma being born. Now, Kuma's father ends up asking this doctor, hey, the blood thing. And the doctor's like, oh, don't worry, we'll make sure we hide, his blood, ancestry away so the world government doesn't figure it out. So that's kind of the thing. Now, some time passes and basically the doctor's like, I'm sorry, Clap, run for your life. The government agent showed up at the hospital. And basically the doctor is like, I'm so sorry. It's me. I'm the one who has Buccaneer blood. And basically what happens is Kuma and his parents, they end up being slaves because his dad has Buccaneer blood in him, and because of it, he has Buccaneer blood. So clearly the world government was against these people called the Buccaneer people, which could maybe have some tie-in to the Void Century. Maybe there was a lot of people, and remember, Saturn in the current timeline, when he telling Bonnie, is like, oh yeah, Kuma, your father, yeah, that's right. He was a member of the extinct Buccaneer tribe race. So I have a feeling the reason why the world government had an issue with these Buccaneer people is because they had something to do with the Void Century. Clearly, it had something to do with the Void Century. Maybe these were one of the few groups that opposed the world government and the Gorosei in its inception of becoming the world government. And that's why they're like, okay, we need to make sure these Buccaneer people are under our watch and everything. So yes. And obviously, like how big Kuma is, Kuma's father is also big and everything. So that's kind of the thing right then and there. And even as we see, Kuma is a very big individual, and he's only like a toddler, basically. Now, that's kind of the thing right then and there. You have to stand a moment to where Kuma's trying to be as happy as he can be throughout the days and everything, and then his father basically ends up telling him like, hey, listen, son, your mother passed away, but she's in heaven now. But I think she's way better off because obviously she's not enslaved anymore. And you get this kind of very emotional panel where Kuma just breaks out in tears crying over this. And basically his father is like, listen, Kuma, you are strong. You can survive this. Why I'd rather be dead too. The warrior of liberation will come. He'll show up and save you. And Kuma's like, who the hell you're talking about? And basically his father's like the sun god Nika. He's a legendary warrior whose story is told throughout our Buccaneer heritage. One day, he'll show up and take you out under the sun to the freedom of the sea. Nika is always smiling and laughing. And he does like the whole, song and dance and everything. And Kuma is like happy and everything. But then you have it where the celestial dragon comes in. Literally is like, shut the fuck up! Boom! Shoots his freaking father dead. Right then and there. So his mom obviously died for, I guess, for some reason, obviously probably due to hard labor. And just because, well, his dad, I guess, to the Celestial Dragons was being too loud, he gets shot dead right then and there, which is very emotional, very sad. So this man, Kuma, lost his parents at a very early age and everything. Now, Sun God Nika stuff, and the fact that it was a story told throughout their race's heritage. I'm not making any predictions, but does this mean, again, like I said, this clearly the Buccaneer tribe has to have something to do with the Void Century. And you have to wonder, was Sun God Nika a Buccaneer? Was he an original Buccaneer race? And hell, maybe this is what the original century, the people who opposed the world government, maybe that's what their race was, the Buccaneers. Maybe that was the race that opposed the world government at first, who was originally the rulers of the One Piece world and everything, but then got taken over by the world government. Maybe that was their race, and Kuma was one of the last descendants of that very ancient race from the Void Century. And obviously the world government, they're like, we can't have any traces to the Void Century at all. Find every Buccaneer, either take them as a slave or probably kill them. So we have nobody trying to get vengeance on us, basically. So that's kind of the thing right then and there. Now, we cut a little bit farther into the timeline as we're ending the chapter off. 38 years ago, in the West Blue, there is this thing happening. The Celestial Dragon is talking, and he is saying, you have waited 3 long years, so now it is time again for our great sport, the native hunting competition. Our arena this time shall be the unaffiliated land of God Valley. Huh? God Valley? So, this is groundbreaking news, ladies and gentlemen. The incident of God Valley was always brought up throughout the story of One Piece. And the fact that it seems like we are now probably getting that story of the incident at God Valley, which involves the Rocks Pirates, Roger, and freaking Garp taking down the Rocks Pirates. We're finally getting this. What's also even more crazy is the fact that God Valley, the island of God Valley, was in the West Blue. Now, listen, mind you, I always thought, okay, God Valley, this very ancient island that maybe I was predicting, hey, this could probably be one of the last spots the Straw Hats see, and we get a critical fight here on God Valley. I'm thinking it's somewhere in the Grand Line or somewhere in freaking the New World. Either in the Grand Line or in the New World, basically. I was especially thinking it might actually be in the New World. It's revealed, Oda reveals here, it's not in the Grand Line, and it's not in the New World. Or the Paradise version of the Grand Line, basically. And it's not in the New World. It's in the West Blue. God Valley was in the West Blue. And again, you know, Shanks used to come from God Valley, which makes sense because he originated from the West Blue, which now makes a lot more damn sense. You see how the puzzle pieces are coming together, ladies and gentlemen? This story is crazy. So God Valley, also too, at this point in time, God Valley was an unaffiliated country with the world government. So this thing was its own country, like how Wano is right now. It was its own original country. Holy freaking hell. Now, the Celestial Dragon goes on to say, this place, which has the audacity to name itself the Valley of God, possesses ample natural resources. We will hold our customary manhunt here and claim the island for the world government. Now, you have it to where you have, I guess, some of these inhabitants on God Valley is literally saying, like, how dare you intend to kill my people for a game? It's insanity. This is our land. And basically, this one girl is like, Your Majesty. And basically, I guess the king of God Valley ends up getting struck down. So basically, the world government came up. You see how evil the world government is? They're like, all right, cool. We don't give a shit if you're under the control. If you're not, if this isn't world government affiliated territory. We will make this world government affiliated territory. And we're just going to come in and we're just going to take it. So again, my convictions about the world government being no better than pirates, taking over an island and basically forcing them to be a country under the world government, that adds up. It adds up. It's absolutely stupid how the world government wants to rid the world of pirates, yet in a way they're kind of like pirates themselves, just doing this slave game, basically this manhunt slave game, so they can just be able to have the God Valley be under their jurisdiction, basically. Now, oh God. Now, the interesting thing about this is the fact that the person who slays down the King of God Valley is basically Saint Garling. Yes, Saint Figurland Garling. Yes, the old Crescent Moon man we saw a few chapters ago. One of the God's Knights. Who, in the flashback, he's titled Holy Knight. Saint Figurland Garling. So at some point, the guy clearly got a promotion to God's Knight. Which is absolutely crazy. And the crazy thing is, his younger self from 38 years ago, from the current timeline, looks like, his face looks like Shanks with the long, curvy hair that looks like it's about to form the moon, basically. So it's absolutely crazy the fact that, okay, this dude definitely is related to Shanks. Clearly, he has got to be related to Shanks now, the fact that he looks similar to him. Now, one of those Celestial Dragons like, whoa, come on, Garling. You can't get a head start now, my guy. We're going to dock you some points for that because you killed somebody that was going to be considered on this manhunt and everything. So we're going to dock you negative 10,000 points. And basically, Garling's like, fine. That's gonna make things a little more fun for me than the handicap I'll take. You know. The celestial dragon's going to say, and in addition to the rabbit natives, we will have a selection of problem slaves and criminals to hunt. So basically, the world government is holding literally a freaking massacre of this island of God Valley, putting people against people, forcing people to literally kill each other for survival. If that isn't effed up beyond belief, and that doesn't show you how despicable the world government truly is, and why they always want to hide stuff away from people, absolutely crazy. That they're like, oh, they're not affiliated with us? Yeah, I mean, and every 3 years, we're going to basically have a whole out Hunger Games like type of event to where we go to an unaffiliated island in the world government. We don't care. We don't care for the people there, the civilians there. They're gonna have to fight and do bloodshed, and the last one standing, that's fine. Also, in the meantime, we're also gonna put our slaves in this as well. Again, it really goes to show you how despicable the world government truly is, and why they always want to hide shit from the common people. So stuff like this does not get out. So people like, oh wait, the world government actually puts people on manhunt? What the hell for sport? Now, one of the next panels we get on this page, as we're ending the, before we end the chapter off, we see Saturn, Saint Saturn, and basically this one person's like, they caught the escaped child, sir, the Buccaneer boy. Now, here's the interesting thing: Saturn exactly looks the exact same way he does 38 years ago from when we currently see him in the current timeline. Literally, same beard, same hairdo. Looks like the guy hasn't aged one bit. And it's funny because I think I was watching Teching 101's video, and I think he made the whole mention of like the fact that what if these people are immortal? So if we're dealing with people that can live forever, well, now it makes sense why the world government has been this strong and why it's been able to be taken over. You got Gorosei members looking like old men, like they could probably die in maybe a few years from now. And I'm looking at this panel 38 years ago. Saint Saturn looks exactly the same. He does as if he was sitting in his freaking room in Marijois in Pangea Castle, just talking to the other Gorosei members throughout the entire series. We've seen him. So clearly, he's not aging 38 years ago, and he looks like an old man. So I don't know what this means of like these Gorosei can live forever, or there's something where they're just some sort of race that can live on for a very long time, and they can give the appearance off as they're very old individuals. But for crying out loud, they probably young. You could say maybe in their history, they young as hell probably. So that's the thing. Now the chapter ends off with the fact that Kuma ended up getting captured, and he ended up getting put on God Valley. So Kuma's on God Valley, and basically the Marines are like, damn you for running away. They're going to hold all of us, or these other slaves are like, damn you for running away. They're going to hold all 10 of us responsible for you. If you escape, they'll kill every last one of us. Now, this very familiar voice who likes to do yee-haw ends up saying, hey, hold it right there, buddy. You must be the grand prize, the Buccaneer. No wonder you're so big. You've got giant's blood, I hear. Kuma looks up, and lo and behold, we see, as the chapter's ended off, we see a young version of Emporio Ivankov. As a young child, still the same personality, we see him in the present timeline. And he's accompanied by this other girl named Jenny, or Guinea, which in the unofficial translation they called her Jenny, but I guess in the official translations on Viz, there are on Shonen Jump, or their Viz translations, they're calling her Guinea. She's eating this chunk of meat, and it's funny because a lot of people were saying, oh, this could be Luffy's mother. This could be the mother of Luffy. And then I also watched Tekken 101's follow-up video where he said, like, yeah, people brought that mention, but then he thought about it. He's like, wait a second. What if this is actually is Kuma's wife, potential future wife? And I didn't think about that. And I'm like, oh, could potentially be the case too. Now, Guinea goes on to say, my bro's pretty big too, huh? Now, Ivankov's like, oh, it's only my face. So, hey, shut up. Now look at all those gloomy, miserable faces. Well, I'll choose the life. I choose life. What about you? And that's where the chapter ends off. And this is, and we know Ivankov knows Kuma. So this is probably their first meeting. This is how they know each other. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely groundbreaking news. And it seems like, in a way, this is all a build up to the incident in God Valley. And the fact that we're getting, see, I thought we would get this backstory revealed like late, like maybe final arc of One Piece content. I didn't even think that we might potentially be getting the incident of God Valley already. Now, if you're wondering, how does this happen? My best guess is the Rocks Pirates ends up raiding God Valley during this event, during this manhunt. Shockingly, Ivankov and Kuma probably more than likely get away. Remember, Bonnie saw all this, so that's probably why she was very emotional. That's probably why she was crying, because she maybe saw Kuma's parents dying and everything. So, it's absolutely crazy. So my guess is Rock's crew raids this event that happens, a fight breaks out and everything, and that's when Garp and Roger shows up. Then they stop and they take down the Rocks Pirates. Again, I don't know if they're going to go too much into that. If they do, holy hell. Well, geez Louise. And that means if they do, we might actually get a Rocks face reveal as well. Because we've only seen a silhouette version of Rocks. We haven't seen his full face of what he truly looks like. But again, this chapter was absolutely groundbreaking. Absolutely insane. Listen, it's just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I think there is a break next week or whatever, but whatever. I don't know where the story's gonna go, but holy hell. Expect whenever the next manga chapter drops, me doing a manga chapter review, especially for this backstory, if this is gonna involve the incident at God Valley like I think we're gonna get. Absolutely crazy reveals here. Bonnie's in trouble. Maybe somebody comes in to save her last second. I'm calling it. Maybe it's Kuma, or maybe it's this robot. The robot on Egghead that will come out of nowhere and save Bonnie, potentially. Because remember, it did awaken. So maybe the robot comes in and saves Bonnie. I don't know. Or maybe Kuma somehow, because we know Kuma was doing something and maybe he saves Bonnie. And it's the last of his humanity or whatever. And holy hell, I don't know where this is going to go. But man. What a crazy turn of events. Kuma's backstory reveal. We're going to see how he gets out of this situation and any things like that. How he potentially could have helped the startup of the Revolutionary Army. Absolutely crazy. But I just needed to talk about this. This was a very big, very important chapter for One Piece, and I think we're getting a lot more very important chapters going forward. Anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's manga chapter for One Piece. Hit the subscribe button if you want to get more One Piece content, whether it's the manga or the anime, and put in the comment section your thoughts of where this story could potentially be going. What are your thoughts about the backstory taking place on God Valley? So yeah. Also, I forgot to mention, Garling is a ruthless MFer. I know we saw him murk somebody. He murked Miosgard, but we saw him murk this one king of God Valley, this one ruler of God Valley. And holy hell, Garling, he's probably somebody you probably don't want to fuck with. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Catch you guys next video. Till then, guys, stay safe up there. Peace.